Hey everybody, it's me, Daniel Hutchins, and today I am doing a article discussion, but not only just an article discussion, I'm doing a mega long article discussion video, and I'm probably going to be doing some surprises at the end. So hang on to your hats because there's going to be a lot of cool stuff I'm going to be talking about in this mega long article discussion. Yes, a mega long article discussion of October the 8th of 2021. Yep. So to get this show on the road, first we are talking about James Bond. Yep, James Bond. You probably never would have expected I'd talk about James Bond, but he is actually very hot in the universe right now. In fact, the next James Bond actor, who will the next 007 be? So Daniel Craig's triumphant final bow as the 007 in No Time to Die has paved the road for new generations of candidates. But who will be the next James Bond? Agent 007, as they say. So, this was from a couple hours ago, guys. Warning, there are some spoilers from the new movie No Time to Die. So, as Daniel Craig has bows out his iconic role as 007 in No Time to Die, the foreword which surrounds will embody the new James Bond. Is intensively, exponentially Craig's confirmed final act as the iconic M16 agent was also being hailed as a extravagant, satisfying piece of cinema that ranks up on the best of his role. These kinds of reviews are befitting for Craig's 15-year stint as James Bond, which has reshaped cultural perceptions surrounding the stuffy nature of the franchise before his explosive Casino Royale had debuted in 2006. Okay, so Ian Fleming first created James Bond novels series back in 1953, focusing on a coincidental masculine fictional British Secret Service agent fighting the assortments of villains. On Her Majesty's service, 007 has since been adapted into multiple forms of modern media, with his most popular incarnation being from the James Bond films. The Bond movie franchise is the longest continual film series, grossing the eye-watering $7.4 billion across the current 58-year duration. Yep, so James Bond has been around for a long time. But related to this article is Mr. White is the most important villain of the Daniel Craig James Bond era. But we're not talking about him, we're talking about someone else. But despite the virtuoso performance from the No Time to Die movie from Craig, the recasting scheme for the Bond franchise is as remorseless as ever. Now, bookmakers are already submitting heavily reduced odds for several candidates that could replace the actor Craig and usher in a new 007 age that captures the current zeitgeist. Now, here are the frontrunners to be the next James Bond actor, as well as the latest odds on who will be the new 007 via betting aggregator US bookies. First we got Reggie Jean Page. Currently the frontrunner to take over 007's hefty mantle, Reggie Jean Page has enjoyed a meteoric rise to prominence in the US since his first starring role in a History Channel's reimagining of 1977 miniseries Roots. Now, English actor has since cemented his place as an A-list actor with his breakout performance from Netflix's hot show Bridgerton, which is winning an Outstanding Actor in Drama Series and NAACP Image Award for his portrayal of Simon Bassett, Duke of Hastings. Now, interest from this fellow countryman, Idris Elba, playing 007, has cooled slightly in tandems with Page's rising star, highlighting his evident suitability to play the dashing M16 agent. Okay, next on the list is Tom Hardy. Yep, so Tom Hardy is one name that never seems to be far away from discussion. Surrounding future Bond candidates, based on his current betting aggregators, he is no different here. Hardy's stock was currently being followed by Venom Let There Be Carnage, with his big box office performance. With his presence in a franchise almost guaranteed to command large audience viewership. One charge consistently leveled at Hardy playing Bond from the similarities to Daniel Craig, both in demeanor and as age, leading the unoriginal portrayal of 007, betting against an actor of Hardy's chops would be foolish, however, especially considering his ability to deliver the action to the highest caliber, a la Hardy's turn in from Mad Max Fury Road. Okay, next on the list is James Norton. Yep. So James Norton has recently dismissed rumors of taking on the role of James Bond, as very flattering and very humble in speculations, but his current odds to claim 007's crown tell a completely different story. Norton has to cut his teeth on top with BBC's thrillers such as McMafia and Happy Valley, which lend themselves very well to the debonair yet gritty Bond profile, and Norton would seek to emulate, making this actor the ideal choice for the role. Bookmakers clearly agree here, given Norton's ascendancy to top out the odds list, with some betting agencies even temporarily closing, betting and suggesting he was a shoo-in for the role of 007 in March of 2021. While his confirmation as Bond looks less as foregone now, do not write off the Lambeth-born actor, who has been seen in contention since Daniel Craig announced his retirement from the franchise. Okay, because you know somebody's going to have to pick him up sooner or later. Now, related to this article is how Daniel Craig's James Bond has fixed your criticisms of 007. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about someone else. So now we're talking about Henry Cavill. So DC Extended Universe, Henry Cavill has embodied the qualities of typical Bond figure, with his style echoing more than a shade of Pierce Brosnan's iconic turn as 007. Cavill has in fact been in the run-in to play 007 for more than a decade, after Casino Royale director Mon Campbell touted him to succeed as the aforementioned Brosnan. Cavill is ultimately considered too young back in 2006 when he was just 23, losing out to Daniel Craig's gritty portrayal of Bond that went on to enrapture the new generation of fans. But while he's not quite as near to the role as he was over a decade ago, Cavill's odds to play James Bond in 2021 were reflective as the continued star status and desire to have the role. Having much recently stated, I would love this opportunity, and if they were to ask me, I would say yes, back in 2018. Next on the list is Idris Elba. So there was a time when MCU's Idris Elba was in question as the unquestionable successor to Daniel Craig's Bond, being featured on almost every entertainment magazine centerfold from the time the new Bond movie was released. The reason why Elba is further down the pecking order right now may have to do something with his currently packed release schedule, with the actor lending his prowess to Sonic the Hedgehog 2 and 3,000 years of longing. Just at the start of 2022 alone, this remarkable consistency with which Idris Elba's name crops up means he can never be discounted. With Elba himself saying who wouldn't, when asked if he would like to don the famous tuxedo and waffle PBK combo. Next is Lashana Lynch. Now, this was an interesting choice that people wanted, but in No Time to Die, Lashana Lynch was already made history as the first female in black 007. Now, albeit temporarily, her turn as Nomi, the M16 agent who inherits 007's mantle while he was in exile, was the groundbreaking, if not compelling, for her performance was a standout aspects of No Time to Die. While legendary stage producer Barbara Broccoli, yes, Broccoli was her last name, yep, Broccoli, I know. So as dismissed, the possibility of this female Bond has probably existed from the franchise. Lynch's 10-to-1 odds suggest that many out there feel her proximity to the role may end up becoming concrete. But we don't know if it's concrete. That's the problem. We don't know if it's concrete. Next on the list is Justin Hartley. Yep. So, one of our all-time favorites from this list was Justin Hartley. He is a unique given his heritage as the American actor. He's also does not fit the typical mood of a bona fide Bond candidate, but given his propensity of serial dramas such as Flash Forward, Heavy, This Is Us, and The Young and Restless, vastly outweighing any blockbuster experience he has held, yet Hartley is a popular actor, especially in the US, and would perhaps reach the wider younger audience than some of the other tried and tested names, being thrown into the legendary role of the 007 in James Bond. Okay, so what do you think your opinion should be about who should be Daniel Craig's replacement as James Bond? Let me know in the comments below, and I really am curious to see what you guys say. Next, we are going to be talking about Indiana Jones. Yep, Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones 5 has set photos of Harrison Ford and Mads Mikkelsen films in Italy. Okay, so new set photos for Indiana Jones 5 offers the look at a long-awaited sequel, Italy set production, with Harrison Ford and Mads Mikkelsen filming. This was from a couple of hours ago. Actually, 4 hours ago. So now, new set photos for Indiana Jones 5 has offered a look at the long-awaited sequel, Italy set production, with Harrison Ford and Mads Mikkelsen filming. Having kicked off in 1981, The Raiders Lost Ark, the action-adventure franchise is well regarded for boosting Ford to stardom alongside with his role Han Solo in Star Wars franchise, which was recently killed off. For you guys who probably don't know, or for you guys who do know, please leave a comment below. But Ford has carried the role of the titular professor and archaeologist through 3 released sequels, and is set to bring his time as Jones to the close. Because, like I mentioned before, he just ended his role as Han Solo, so now it's going to be the close of another character, Indiana Jones, which was going to be the close of his upcoming 5th film. Now, coming over the decade after its predecessor, which wasn't that good, to be honest, which itself only nearly 2 decades to get off the ground. Now, Indiana Jones 5 will not only mark Harrison Ford's final performance as Indiana Jones, but also the first film in the franchise not to be helmed by Steven Spielberg, who elected to let someone else from the prospective lead into director chair. This decision would bring Logan filmmaker James Mangold, the next assistant person, to takes charge and is also co-writing the script for Ford vs. Ferrari pair, Jez and John Henry Butterworth. Not to get confused with the Butterworth syrup. Just kidding. And has assembled a star-studded cast, including Mads Mikkelsen, Phoebe Waller-Bridge, Toby Jones, Antonio Banderas, which we haven't seen him since Zorro, but of course his name shows up, and Boyd Holbrook. Now, production on Indiana Jones 5 finally went underway in the UK in June, and now new looks of the film are coming out as we are speaking right now. So, related to this article is Indiana Jones 5 is the last chance to pay off the Young Chronicles storyline. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. So the UK production, or the publication, Daily Mail, has unveiled new sets of photos from the Italian location from which Indiana Jones 5 production takes place. Now the photos see Ford done in his iconic leather jacket and faded yellow shirt and gray pants, as well as Mikkelsen in a fancier gray suit and a Panama hat. Yes, the Panama hats. They were super awesome back then. If you ever had a style of fashion, the Panama hat was something else, definitely. But the images also see an older vehicle decorated with flower decorations akin to that from the vehicle for the bride and groom at a wedding. Okay, the new set photos for Indiana Jones 5 may not offer a whole lot of insight as to the relationship of Ford's titular hero and Mikkelsen's undisclosed character, but it does give the nice glimpse that of what fans could expect to see the two look like from the film. Now, Dell, 13 years have passed since Ford has donned the fedora and leather jacket. The 79-year-old actor has looked up to the same way he did from the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which again, that wasn't that good anyway. Again, comments if you have some, leave them below. If it had been reported that Ford had gone back in filming in September following the onset of his shoulder injury earlier during a stunt, which makes the photos confirmation of it having been healed and is working comforting for the longtime franchise fans. Okay. Now there's a tease of the wedding in the latest set photos for Indiana Jones 5. Also, it comes as the interesting development of this film, given that the preceding film concluded with Ford's titular protagonist and Karen Allen's Marion getting married. Now, the Raiders Lost Ark star hasn't been confirmed to appear in the sequel, but creating this point of curiosity as to who could be getting hitched in the scene and why Jones deems this adventurer's outfit appropriate attire for such this event, only time will tell when Indiana Jones 5 hits theaters in July 29th of 2022. So let me know what your thoughts are about Indiana Jones. I like to see what your thoughts are. I want to see what you guys say as far as what you think about for Indiana Jones. Okay, so now we are going to be talking about Marvel again. Yep, Marvel again. So is Captain Carter worthy of wielding Mjolnir? Which we know Mjolnir is the very, very famous hammer that Steve Rogers had lifted when from an Endgame. So yes, in What If, Captain Carter fights to save the MCU multiverse, and she might have also been shown as she might be worthy of Mjolnir. Now, this was from 5 hours ago. Okay, so this article contains spoilers from What If, Episode 9, which is the finale, by the way. Now, Captain Carter fights to save the multiverse. She may also have been shown she is worthy of wielding Mjolnir. Now, the What If Season 1 finale shook up the MCU with the final episode. The Watcher has gathered the various superhero variants revealed through the season, and he had brought them together to take on Ultron. This final team consisted of Captain Carter, T'Challa Star-Lord, Gamora, Killmonger, Party Thor, and Evil Doctor Strange. Black Widow had eventually joined too, but together the heroes separated Ultron with the Infinity Stones and saved the multiverse. Now, you think that's the end? No, I still have more to talk about. But Peggy Carter had a drastically different story in What If. As opposed to the main MCU timeline in What If, Episode 1 has changed the events of Captain America First Avenger. Instead of Steve Rogers receiving the Super Soldier Serum, Peggy Carter does. Now she soon takes the name Captain Carter and puts the war effort to her own hands. Now on the other hand, Rogers becomes the first Iron Man, and pairs take on the Hydra together. Now unfortunately, it doesn't last, and they are eventually separated when Carter fights the monster summoned by Hydra and goes back through a portal. She disappears for years. Okay, so related to this article, the MCU just supported every Phase 4 multiverse theory and rumor. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. What If has just showed that Captain Carter is worthy of Mjolnir. But we want to know how she's worthy of Mjolnir. Now that's what I'm trying to tell you. So hold on, I'm going to tell you. So in the finale, the team of superheroes, which the Watcher dubs the Guardians of the Multiverse, has concocted an awesome plan to steal the Soul Stone from Ultron. Now part of this crazy plan includes Captain Carter smashing the villain with her shield. Now following this assault of the evil AI villain, Carter grabs a hold of Mjolnir's handle from What If, which is flying back to Thor, and then she hitches a ride on the hammer down to safety. It's just a brief scene which you only see a couple seconds of, but it may give the nod to Captain Carter's worthiness. Hint, hint, wink, wink. So there you go. That is some pretty hot stuff. But then again, Captain Carter has given several glimpses of her worthiness from What If. In addition to this, holding onto Mjolnir briefly in the What If finale, Carter has repeatedly put herself in harm's way for the good of everybody else in What If premiere. Like Rogers sacrificed himself in First Avenger by plunging the rogue aircraft in the ice. Now Carter did the same for her episode, disappearing for years to save the world from the tentacle monster. Now at the end of What If Episode 9, Captain Carter ponders the possibility of joining Steve Rogers from another timeline. Now however, the Watcher tells her that her timeline needs her. She returns home, but of course when it comes to selfless acts, Captain Carter could do it all day. So from the What If finale doesn't truly reveal Carter's worthiness, but it just hints that it does. And Captain Carter just holds on to Mjolnir's handle in the episode, letting the hammer guide her to safety. She doesn't wield it herself, she just holds on to the handle. But additional to this, it's unknown if the Mjolnir from Marvel's What If finale has the same enchantments in one of the main MCU timeline, which lets the worthy wielder have the power of Thor. Now however, timeline shenanigans aside, if Steve Rogers was worthy of Mjolnir, there is no doubt and no reason Captain Carter wouldn't be. So there you go. What are your thoughts about that? Let me know your thoughts about that. I want to know what your thoughts are about that. So now we are going to be talking about some more stuff, guys. We are talking about more stuff. Alright, we are 24 minutes in. Okay, so now we are talking about the Hulk. Yes, the Hulk. You'll probably be like, why am I talking about the Hulk? Well, I'm going to be talking about the Hulk. So, that is what I'm choosing to talk about. If you have a problem with it, then don't watch my video. But if you do like the Hulk, continue to watch this video, because I am going to be talking about the Hulk's original healing factor would put Wolverine and Deadpool to shame. Now, the Incredible Hulk's healing factor is much stronger than Wolverine and Deadpool's, as the character could officially survive decapitation. And this was from Hot Off the Truck 7 minutes ago. Okay, so the Incredible Hulk is one of the most durable heroes in the Marvel Universe, but surviving decapitation puts him on a cut above the other heroes, with similar powers like Deadpool and Wolverine. Now this character is one of Marvel's oldest and most beloved, first appearing in 1961. Now that's old, and of course his powers have only increased ever since. But in Ultron Forever, which was a 2014 miniseries, written by Ali Wing, with art by Alan Davis and colors by Rochelle Rosenberg, the Hulk survives the fatal blow from this deadly foe, thanks to the fact that his writers were still figuring out his ability. In Ultron Forever, Dr. Doom gathers Avengers from different time periods to defeat this Ultron from the future that has taken the power of Odin and conquered Earth with minimal effort. Now, among others, he summons Thor, the Jane Foster one, and Iron Man, James Rhodes, instead of Tony, of course, and Incredible Hulk. But the Hulk summoned by Doom is notably from his early appearance, from the 60s, y'all, the 60s. But as his face is more ape-like and he lacks the characteristic limited speech pattern of his more modern incarnation, he may not know it, but this element would be the key to his survival. Now, the link to this article is Marvel vs. DC. Fans decide the winner of Superman-Hulk fight. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about someone else. But as Hulk, Black Widow, and Captain America battle the corrupted, bio-slaved members of the Avengers, Captain America throws her shield only for her futuristic shield control signal to be intercepted by the bio-slaved Black Widow of Ultron's universe. Now Widow and Cap watch in horror as Hulk is swiftly decapitated by the shield, and Dr. Doom wonders if he's made a mistake in sending the Hulk. But by the two are even more horrified when Bruce Banner's head slowly emerges from Hulk's headless body. Okay? So this is actually pretty crazy. There's actually even a picture of Hulk's head decapitated. It's actually pretty freaking crazy. I'm going to be saving this photo because why not? It's actually pretty freaking funny. Okay, so I'm back, guys. But anyway, oh my gosh, it says the photo is a failed network error. Damn it! I'm gonna have to try to play with that later. But Banner picks up Hulk's head and reattaches it to the body, providing the rare instance in which Banner and the Hulk can communicate with each other in the same room. As he explains that the Hulk's powers are fluctuating and even doesn't understand them fully. Now the curse of the Hulk warps my body. It's different every day, every month, every year, but like the monster searching for what to be, freak mutations like this one are fully common, or should I say fairly common. Now, what Bruce calls a mutation is a specific healing factor that not even Wolverine possesses. Deadpool could survive decapitation, but notably he can't grow a new head from his body, unlike Banner can. But Bruce explains his experiment with the gamma ray machine to control his transformation. but they hardly produce consistent results. So in Incredible Hulk number 6, for example, one particular transformation gives Hulk the face of Banner, but not the intelligence. Okay, so in recent years, Wolverine and Deadpool may have eclipsed the Hulk in popularity, but certainly not in strength and durability. Now, Hulk's powers are times quite disturbing, and Banner has a difficult time controlling the monster from within. But its ultimate force for good, still the fact that the Incredible Hulk could survive decapitation and grow 2 heads, should be frightening for villains of Hulk's visage in general. Okay, so let me know your thoughts as far as how Hulk is able to regrow his head after being decapitated. Let me know your thoughts about that, because that's actually pretty freaking crazy. Okay, so hold on. Alright, more Marvel What If news from 19 minutes ago. So what if writer has received hate mail over multiple Iron Man deaths? Okay, so Marvel's What If head writer A.C. Bradley shares that she's been getting hate mail regarding Iron Man multiple deaths from the series. Okay, so this was from 19 minutes ago. So writer A.C. Bradley says that she's getting hate mail for multiple Iron Man deaths from Marvel What If. Marvel Studios' 4th series on Disney Plus just ended with the introduction of the Guardians of the Multiverse. Now, its first season had many buzzworthy elements. Among them were the many versions of Tony Stark's death. Now, as the series scaled the multiverse for new narratives, each episode focused on an entirely new reality. This meant that What If featured several variants of characters, which made for fun scenarios. However, even before it was clear that the show was building towards culminating finale, there was a noticeable pattern in every outing that featured Iron Man. He always dies. Now, the manner of his death is made worse. Instead of executing a heroic sacrifice, animated iterations of this hero were murdered by several villains, including Evil Hank Pym, Eric Killmonger, and Ultron. Now, there's really only one episode in which he didn't die, but unfortunately, it was bumped to the show's 2nd season due to, you guessed it, Corona fucking virus. Yes, Corona fucking virus. Yep. So, related to this article is every What If episode ranked worst to best. With What If Season 1 finished, Bradley talked to Entertainment Weekly to unpack the show finale. She also explained the existence of Thanos killing Gamora and Space Iron Man, saying that their story was delayed to Season 2. That's kind of dumb, but she then promised that in this outing, Tony Stark doesn't die to appease fans who have been sending her hate mails because of the character's multiple deaths from the series. Yeah, due to the pandemic, one of her core production houses was very hit hard and could not finish animation of one of her episodes that was supposed to air early in the season. That episode featured Tony and Gamora. It was a lighter episode, but we didn't murder Tony horrifically in this one. I promise. Big spoiler. But I'm getting hate mail. So people involved in What If haven't commented to this, but many interpreted Iron Man's several deaths in the show as Marvel Studios' way of reiterating that the character is gone. Now, admittedly though, not everyone was a fan of the fate in Avengers Endgame. Now, despite the fact that his demise made sense in terms of his overall arc in the MCU, There were actually several fan campaigns that demanded Marvel Studios somehow resurrect him, with the existence of the multiverse. The franchise can certainly feature the character again, but he remains dead in the sacred timeline. It still seems like it will stay that way. Even Robert Downey Jr. said that Tony's story is finished, so there's really no need to bring him back. So Iron Man's legacy looms over the franchise. However, him and his personal story continue to factor the future MCU Phase 4, storytelling in projects like WandaVision, Shang-Chi, and others. But, moving forward, Marvel Studios is set to further explore the legacy he's left behind, through shows like Armor Wars and Ironheart. As Bradley had mentioned, he will also be in an episode of What If Season 2, where he won't die. However, don't expect him to return in Sacred Timeline, at least not anytime soon. Otherwise, Marvel Studios has risked the possibility of cheapening his death from Endgame. Yeah. So pretty crazy stuff. Pretty crazy stuff. Yes, pretty crazy stuff. But this, we're going already, time check is 36 minutes. So now, we are going up and going to more articles, more articles, more articles, more articles. Okay, hold on. We are gonna try to find some more. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, this is interesting. Black Widow. Yes, Black Widow. Black Widow, why Taskmaster forgives Natasha. Okay, so Taskmaster and Natasha share the troubled past in Black Widow. But how can Taskmaster forgive Natasha in her part of the creation of an MCU villain? Now, that's a good fucking question. I don't know. But that's why we are exploring this. Okay? 55 minutes ago. Here is why Taskmaster forgives Natasha Scarlett Johansson in Disney Black Widow. The masked and armored villain is revealed to be Antonia, the daughter of General Dreykov, who was in the building that Natasha blew up in attempt to kill the Russian leader of the Red Room. Now, unbeknownst to her, both her father and daughter survived the assassination attempt, but Antonia is left severely injured, such that Dreykov has to insert technology in her head. Yeah, pretty crazy. But the final fight scene of Black Widow sees Taskmaster dueling with Natasha as the two has plummeted toward the earth amongst the ruins of the destroyed Red Room. When they reach the ground, Natasha fights defensively, disarming the Taskmaster, but during the end of the struggle, the brawl only ends up that Natasha detonates a vial of synthetic gas antidote, freeing Taskmaster from the chemical mind control implant by Dreykov. Now, Taskmaster's will to fight immediately has vanished, and she's also accepted Natasha's apology. Okay, that's kind of weird. But related to this article is MCU just did a better Black Widow sequel than Endgame. We're not talking about that, we're talking about something else. Some viewers find it strange, however, that Taskmaster is so quick to forgive Natasha. After all, it's a villain, for Christ's sake. And as much as she's worked to redeem herself, Natasha did make the decision that Antonia was acceptable collateral damage in the assassination attempt. It made sense though, but though Antonia would forgive her, because not only does Natasha free her from her father's wicked influence, but she also understands Natasha's actions and why she made the decision she did. Now, Taskmaster in Black Widow is much to a slave to Dreykov as any of the widows. She has been forced throughout her entire adult life to hurt people in the names of the Red Room. Dreykov has so thoroughly manipulated her to her body and her mind that she is basically his guard dog, and she finally understands that her father is the real enemy. This true cause to her suffering, she can also sympathize with Natasha, who has underwent a similar experience, seemingly understanding why she tried to kill Dreykov, and perhaps may even agree that her own life would have been acceptable collateral damage to rid the world of such the evil. Okay, but that does not end. There's still more. So Natasha is also the only reason Taskmaster is freed from her father's influence. Even after Dreykov's death, she pursues his goals by trying to kill his enemies. It's only when Natasha exposes her to the antidote that Black Widow's Taskmaster finally regains control of her own mind, achieving redemption for knowingly trying to kill a child of certainly difficult. But Natasha does so when she rescues that same person from a lifetime of violent enslavement. It's understandable that Taskmaster is able to forgive Natasha for her crime, because Natasha generally earns an absolution by doing what was right for her victims in the Red Room. The drama fits perfect, but into a guilt-ridden Black Widow of Avengers, the resolution feels satisfying and largely completes Natasha's arc before her tragic ending from Endgame. The conflict in Black Widow fleshes out Natasha's character, and although many viewers are still upset about her death, the film helps to lessen out the blow. Okay, so what are your guys' thoughts about this? What do you think about having Taskmaster forgiven Natasha? Let me know what your thoughts are. I want to see what your thoughts are. Again, I want to see comments. I want to see you guys actually talk about what you thought was right, or what you thought should have happened. Okay, yeah, we are going to find some more, guys. We are going to find some more. Okay, so now we are talking about something from the comics. Yes, something from the comics. Batman would have died with his parents, but, spoiler, secretly saved him. Now, we are going to talk about who that spoiler is. Okay? The Phantom Stranger is an elusive and mysterious figure with a new story that reveals he's played the important role in Batman's tragic origin. Now, whoever this Phantom Stranger is, we're going to find out who the hell he is and what he did to help Batman. This was from an hour ago. Okay, so containing some spoilers from the Endless Staircase appearing Are You Afraid of Darkseid? But we're not talking about that story. We're talking about how this stranger has saved Batman's life. Okay, so DC's given a new eerie layer to Batman's origin. Okay, skip the introduction. Now, so nearly every major hero in the DC universe has crossed paths with this guy named the Phantom Stranger. The Phantom Stranger always seems to play a deeper game, playing his cards close to his chest. Nowhere was it seen until now that we have this dude named the Phantom Stranger. So it's just until right now that we know the Phantom Stranger was responsible for the origin of Batman. So okay, the Phantom Stranger is moving through time, collecting individuals from specific moments, ushering up the Endless Staircase, telling them, I am sorry, come home. One person in ancient Egypt forging a sword of the ninth metal. Another is a comic artist who inadvertently destroys the multiverse The Stranger even comes out to a non-extinct dodo birds. One of his stops in Crime Alley in Gotham City, where Joe Chill, yes, Joe Chill, don't get that confused with ice cream, because his name is Chill, but it's Joe Chill, has just shot and killed Bruce Wayne's parents. Now, narration has revealed that Chill has almost pulled the trigger on Bruce too, but something had stopped him. The Phantom Stranger, whoever this Phantom Stranger is, we're going to find out about the Phantom Stranger. He then appears to take him up the endless staircase. Alright, so telling Joe Chill that he must go, because if he doesn't, Bruce Wayne will grow up to be an ordinary person. In the world will not have Batman. Now, that's pretty freaking crazy. Okay, telling someone that's gonna murder the parents of you to go away or there won't be a Batman, that's actually pretty fucking cool. As kind of messed up as that is. Now, the story is mysterious and elliptical, remaining some vague information about who the Stranger is and what his Stranger's motivation is, and what he means by "I am sorry, come home." Every individual the Stranger collects is a threat in some way. Be it from the multiverse, their families, or to be the future Batman. Now, the Phantom Stranger, reasoning that Bruce could never have become Batman if Joe Chill was caught, is solid. Now, Chill's immediately captured, but may have brought closure to the murder of Bruce's parents, and somehow has prevented him from becoming Batman. The Stranger has made Joe Chill disappear. Bruce, seeing that his parents' killer was never caught, will now have to drive to become the Dark Knight, and make the greater impact to the world. Yes, the Phantom Stranger involvement in Batman's origin adds layers. It adds a spooky layer, but also reinforces the origin story tragedy. The Bruce Wayne had to suffer to become Batman. Okay, so there you go, guys. That is just a little bit of something interesting that I want to tell you guys about Batman origin, how it's got changed in the comics. Again, by this guy named the Phantom Stranger. Now, what type of name is the Phantom Stranger? I don't know, but again, it actually is a pretty cool name. Alright, so time check is 47 minutes. Alright. So we are going to Screen Rant exclusives. Yes, Screen Rant exclusives. Sometimes there's good stuff and sometimes there's crappy stuff. But we are trying to find some good stuff. Alright. Alright. Now, the fact that it's been a while since I've done a mega long article discussion tells you just how crazy this was in the creation of making this particular mega long article discussion. Okay, now we are clearing something up that I had already talked about again on this mega long article discussion. Black Widow, why Red Guardian's Captain America lie might be true. Okay, so as you guys on my channel probably know, I had talked about some Black Widow content during the early bit of the year. But Red Guardian has claimed that he fought Steve Rogers during the 1980s in Black Widow. And here's why his Captain America lie might be true. Now, might. Now, the keyword might be true. Might be true. Now, 2 hours ago, Red Guardian has claimed he's previously fought Captain America and Black Widow. Here's why his lie might actually be true in Marvel Cinematic Universe. Now, despite being the first movie of the Marvel Studios Phase 4, Scarlett Johansson's solo movie was set during the beginning of Phase 3. It focused on telling Natasha Romanoff's story of finally taking down the Red Room. Now, but it also introduced several new fan-favorite characters. Yelena Belova, which is her sister, Red Guardian, which is her dad, and Melina Vostokoff. I can't even fucking say her last name. She is the mom. Now, played central role members of Black Widow's family. Alright. So while Black Widow set up all these characters to have the future in MCU, it also had to introduce each of them and provide their backstory. As this result, audiences saw Alexei play Natasha's father in America, break out of Russian prison, and more. Now, Red Guardian's role also included multiple references to him fighting Captain America from the past. This has caught the attention of fans and other Black Widow characters because that seemed impossible. But he's claimed this has happened during the 1980s, a time where Steve Rogers was still frozen in ice and incapable of such this fight. Now, however, Red Guardian fully believes he fought Captain America and snapped the man's arm for questioning of this authenticity of his story. Now, related to this article is Red Guardian fought Winter Soldier, not Captain America. Theory explained. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about someone else. So it might seem that Red Guardian lied about fighting Captain America to boost his own notoriety. But he could be telling the truth after all. The Falcon Winter Soldier established that there have been other super soldiers over the years in replacement Captain Americas. This came through Isaiah Bradley's introduction. He came from America's attempt to recreate Erskine's super soldier serum. Bradley was even sent on missions from Secrets. While Isaiah was detained at the time when Red Guardian's supposed Captain America fight took place, his origin could have been replicated after the United States kept trying to replace Steve Rogers. It is during these events that the Red Guardian could have encountered a new Captain America who he just assumes is Steve Rogers. Okay, so as for what other versions of Captain America Red Guardian may have fought, the comics introduced several different possibilities. People like William Burnside, Bob Russo, Roscoe Simmons, Scar Turpin, and Jeffrey Mace all suited up as Captain America in the comics during the time he was either frozen in ice or otherwise left the mantle up for grabs. Now, the MCU could reveal that any of these men became super soldiers during the 80s. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has previously introduced Jeffrey Mace, though, so he could be off the table of consideration if Marvel Studios has any interest in not retconning the series' place in MCU. But Marvel finds some way to confirm that Red Guardian had fought a version of Captain America would be for the best. It means that Alexei isn't delusional or a liar. It gives the MCU another chance to expand the Captain America mythology. This would also be a smoother explanation based from the Falcon Winter Soldier. Showed that any of these series about Red Guardian fighting the time traveling Steve Rogers, Captain America, with Red Guardian, sure to return to a future MCU project after Black Widow. Hopefully one of his next appearances could clarify how he managed to fight Captain America. So there you go, guys. That is just a little bit of information I want to share, clearing up about how this lie might be true. So, time check, 54 minutes. Now we are going back to Screen Rant exclusives. We're doing one more article, and then I'm going to do something else at the end. Okay, Okay, now we're going to be talking about Venom again. Yes, what's next for Venom after Let There Be Carnage, Spider-Man Universe Future. This was from 3 hours ago. So, now the Venom Let There Be Carnage has become the box office success And what is next for the Lethal Protector? Here is what could show up next. Warning, there are some spoilers for Let There Be Carnage. Now that Venom Let There Be Carnage was released, questions remain over where he will show up next. The post-credit scene of Venom 2 sets up some exciting possibilities for Tom Hardy's Eddie Brock in MCU. But the film also has laid the groundwork for more Venom stories within Sony's Spider-Man universe. The intermingling of two franchises could be confusing, but it also means more Venom coming to the big screen in the future. Though the original Venom was met with pretty negative reviews, it was a huge success at the box office and attracted a sizable faction of supporters due to his abject silliness. Now, Hardy has been compelling enough to the leading role, and the relationship between Eddie and Venom proved entertaining. While the critical consensus is that Venom Let There Be Carnage is far from a masterpiece, it has fared better critically than the first film, and has received some notable praise for embracing the inherent ridiculous nature of the Venom character. Now, related to this article is why Venom 2 retcons the major Marvel movie event. But we're not talking about that, we're talking about someone else. After Venom 2 has done so much of a build out of the characters and world of Sony's Spider-Man universe, there are a lot of different directions the character could go next. Now, the ending of Venom 2 teleports Venom and Eddie to the MCU, where a confrontation with Tom Holland's Spider-Man was teased. However, this character also has had a bright future at Sony. Here's what been revealed so far about Venom's cinematic future, and where he could show up next. Will there be a Venom 3? Well, that's a good question. Prior to Venom Let There Be Carnage premiere, Hardy said the sequel to Venom 2 would only happen if the second film did well. But with Venom 2 performing spectacularly at the box office, it seems the sure thing that Venom 3 would be on the way. Venom 2 director has said that he's interested in exploring more of the villain's head in the Ravencroft Institute, so it's likely that Venom 3 will dig deeper into the catalog of Spider-Man villains that Sony has currently owns the rights of the movies to. But one such villain that's already been teased in Venom Let There Be Carnage was Toxin, the offspring of Carnage, and one of the most dangerous symbiotes in all of Marvel Comics. The ending of Venom 2 includes the shot of a police officer, Patrick Mulligan, seemingly being infected with some Carnage symbiote, which all will likely manifest as an appearance from Toxin in Venom 3. Now, due to the other upcoming releases in Sony's Spider-Man universe, however, like Morbius and Kraven the Hunter, it may be a few years before Venom 3 has reached the theaters. Will Tom Hardy's Venom be in Spider-Man No Way Home? Now, that's a good question too. But in Venom 2 post-credit scene, Eddie and Venom are seen relaxing after the battle with Carnage, discussing Venom symbiote hive mind, when a sudden earthquake seems to transport them to the reality in the MCU. J.K. Simmons, J. Jonah Jameson, otherwise known as JJJ, yes, JJJ, pretty awesome, right? JJJ, is heard over TV. The news footage of Holland's Spider-Man's clearly shown, and with Venom appearing to recognize his classic comic book foe. The post-credit scene has become the biggest talk of the movie Venom Let There Be Carnage because of a larger franchise implication, the most obvious of which Hardy's Venom possibly appearing in Spider-Man No Way Home. Now, it's not confirmed yet if he is going to be in Spider-Man No Way Home, so don't jump the shark too soon. We just think that he might be. We might think he might be. He might be. Might be. Now, related to this article is Venom 2 post-credit scene changes Marvel movies forever. We're not talking about that. We're talking about someone else. But neither Disney nor Sony has confirmed Venom for Spider-Man No Way Home, but it seems like the inevitable result of the Venom 2 post-credit scene. This film will also see characters from previous Spider-Man film canon's Battle Holland Spider-Man. Dr. Octopus, Green Goblin, and Electro are already confirmed. Now, the multiverse convergence event caused by Doctor Strange would explain how Hartley's Venom was brought to the MCU, and would be fun to see him finally come face to face with Spider-Man. Now what we want to know is, can Venom join the MCU for good, just like his counterpart Spider-Man? That's a good question. But Venom 2 post-credit scene confirms an MCU crossover movie of some sort. But it does mean that he'll join the franchise. But does that mean he will be joining the franchise for good? In short, no, there's not. But Sony still owns the film rights to Venom, and as does Spider-Man, and all the associated villains and sidekicks. Those rights will remain with Sony indefinitely. Now, as long as the company produces Spider-Man universe film every 5 or 6 years, reports say Sony has asked for $10 billion to sell the rights back to Marvel, but which is the price Disney is unlikely to pay. Because, like you say, Disney is crazy. But again, because this value of the Spider-Man franchise, Sony probably won't stop making movies anytime soon. Because we know Sony is super good at making Spider-Man movies. Okay, so Spider-Man has been allowed to feature in MCU through the separate license deal between Sony and Marvel, where Sony has effectively rented the character back to them for certain movies. Alright, this similar deal is likely behind Venom, impending MCU debut, which means that he could continue to be licensed out to Sony for additional films after The Way of No Way Home. Now, there's no guarantee that Sony will let Marvel hold on to the character. Sony has big plans for its own Spider-Man film universe, and Venom is the key piece to these plans. So, while he may appear once or twice in MCU Phase 4, Venom probably won't become a permanent staple in Disney franchise anytime soon. Venom's future in Sony's Spider-Man universe explained. Okay, so in addition to this hypothetical idea of Venom 3, Hartley's Eddie Brock could appear in a number of Sony's other upcoming Spider-Man movies. Rumors say that Venom would appear in Morbius alongside Jared Leto's eponymous vampire, which hasn't been confirmed, but it seems incredibly likely, though, because Sony is still in the early stages of building out a shared universe. Now, there's also speculation about Sinister Six sometime down the road, which could also feature Venom in a prominent role. Related to this article, Venom 2 Cast Guide. Every Let There Be Carnage character explained. Well, that would be a super long one, but we're not talking about that. Alright, but until Sony releases more of Spider-Man universe movies, it's hard to say how exactly Venom was going to fit with the overarching storyline. Now, for his own movies, though, he's been portrayed as an anti-hero instead of the villain. But he's still far from the Iron Man type of character that usually leads big film franchises. Now, it's hard to see how an Avengers-style crossover movie would happen in Sony's Spider-Man universe. But let there be known that Venom Let There Be Carnage seems like just the beginning of this character expanding adventures on the big screen. There you go, guys. That is just a little bit of some information I want to clear up about what the future is for Venom. And as I promised, the special surprise I want to tell you about at the end was I wanted to tell you my own review. I want to tell you my review of the Lego Star Wars short of this year, Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales. Okay, so in a couple words only, I am going to try to explain to you my thoughts or my review of Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales. Now, I just had recently watched it while I was doing this mega long article discussion. You did not hear any volume from it. That's because I was watching it simultaneously while I was doing this awesome video for you guys. But what I have to say about this short from Lego Star Wars was that basically it was just kind of, I thought it was kind of boring. It wasn't really that good. I still think the holiday special is a lot better. I still think the Christmas holiday special is still better than the Terrifying Tales. Mostly because the holiday special actually, tied in with the original holiday special. Kinda, sorta, but in Lego canon instead of real people canon. But I think that in my utmost respect, I feel like I still like Lego Star Wars, but at the same time it's like, Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales, okay? Now, the idea of it was kind of a little confusing, so that's why I had watched it simultaneously while I was doing this mega long article discussion, because I wanted to do my mega long article discussion before I talked about my review, so I tied them both together in this video. But my thought was that simply that I thought that the whole plot of it was just all kind of rushed. They kind of rushed the plot. There wasn't really much of a plot. It was only 45 minutes long. It had Poe Dameron and BB-8, and supposedly the droid and the rebel, they were in Darth Vader's castle, and I guess they were telling all these tales about spooky stories and stuff, and I kind of think it was kind of stupid, in my opinion. It was kind of more geared to, like, somebody of, like, the age of 10, so, like, a 10-year-old would really enjoy it, but as an adult, I kind of thought it was kind of pointless. Why would you have a Halloween special of a rebel named Poe Dameron and a droid trying to tell spooky stories at Darth Vader's castle? Bad idea. Bad idea. Bad idea. That's just my opinion. But you can argue about that if you want in the comments. Let me know what your thought was about the short. And like I said, some things we like and some things we hate. It's all kind of part of life. So yeah. I just think that Lego Star Wars short that they had on Disney Plus just this week wasn't all that good. I just thought it was I felt like it was kind of stupid. I kind of felt like the story of it and the whole point of it was kind of made it pointless. But again, argue about it if you want. Let me know your thoughts about that. I like to see some more communication between any of the information I shared from my article discussions and stuff like that. So again, that just tells you just why I do the comic book universe. So again, if you have any comments at all, please leave them down below. I like to see you guys communicate. I like to see you guys kind of see what you guys think about my content. And again, I'm going to probably close up this video. I'm going to probably drink some of my water that I have on my table. And then I'm just going to try to chillax. Try to drink because, talking for an hour can make you super thirsty. So, yeah. I don't know what my dad is up to, but I know my dad is probably going to be going out alone tonight at 4:30 to check out with some guy about some RV that we're going to be using for short term, that we're probably going to be buying and then using to go to see my brother down south for Christmas. But we're not really going to talk about that because that's just family stuff. But anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this content. Hope you guys had a lot of fun listening to me talk for an hour. And again, please hit that thumbs up button and have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful afternoon. And I'll probably be doing some videos later in the weekend. Bye.